Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Jim Master Show Live. It's so great to have you guys here. And look who is joining us. Ashley Belote is here live and direct from North Carolina, award-winning illustrator and children's book author and so much more. Good to see you, Ashley. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited about it.
Oh, we're really excited as well. And we're going to chat. We're going to have some good times. And you also going to do a live demonstration for us too, right?
Yes, I am. I'm going to draw an elephant from my upcoming picture book, Listen Up, Luella, so everybody at home can join in.
That is fantastic. We welcome our Levity squad. That's our faithful viewers who watch the Jim Master Show live from around the world all the time. We also welcome anybody who's watching for the very first time. If this is your first time, welcome to the Jim Master Show live. This is our entertainment lifestyle talk show series that we started back in April 2020, sort of playing off my professional work in TV and radio as a host, presenter, and so much more. If this is the first time, or if you would like to comment live in chat with each other and with us while the show is happening live, you can do that when you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We encourage you to do that. There is no cost when you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is absolutely free. I know they use the word subscribe, but there's no cost for that. That's just clicking this red button you see there on our YouTube channel. The channel is Jim Masters TV. The show is the Jim Masters Show Live. Click that red subscribe button. We would love that. That helps us out big time. And also, be sure and click the notification bell icon so you never miss any of our series episodes, all these episodes and everything that we have done thus far with guests coming in from all different backgrounds, celebrity friends, and so much more. Also, give this episode a thumbs up like, gang, if you enjoy this episode and any of the episodes you enjoy here on the Jim Masters Show Live. We would love that. Comments coming in already from our Levity viewers. Thank you so much, gang. It's so good to see you on a Sunday afternoon. Again, I mentioned the time and the day just because it's live, but a lot of people do watch our series later on in the archives too, and we invite everybody to do that. So you're there in North Carolina. How are things in North Carolina today, Ashley?
They're hot today. Very
Is it hot, really?
It is, yes. Yesterday was pretty warm, and then today we're spiking up into like the upper 70s. So I would say spring is here in North Carolina.
Upper 70s already. Wow.
Yes.
We're north here in the New York tri-state area, and it's about 49 degrees. So not bad actually for early March. That could be a lot colder than that, but
Yes, it could.
we will take the 49 degrees. So how did you first get started in illustration and the arts? What was an early inspiration for you, Ashley?
I would say my mom, my childhood, I have drawn ever since I can remember. I consider being an artist as part of my identity, and I just feel extremely blessed to make a living doing something that I love so much. But my parents owned and operated an independent publishing company when I was growing up. And my mom still owns and operates that company. So when I was 9 years old, she started taking me to trade shows, to conferences, to book events. And I just kind of became part of the business, which was great. I loved every minute of it. So I'm kind of a publishing kid. I grew up in this business, and a lot of times kids don't gravitate towards what their parents do, which is fine. But in my case, I really did. I loved everything about it. I loved talking to people about books. I loved running the checkout register. I loved reading all the books, and especially the children's books. And when I was in elementary school, I would draw all the time, and art was my favorite class. And I was always really encouraged by teachers and parents and everything. So that was always, something nice. And then in high school, majored in art, and then decided that this is really what I wanted to pursue, and went to college and graduate school for the arts. And I did a program at the Carle Museum of Picture Book Art in Amherst, Massachusetts, that was sponsored through the Simmons College satellite program, where they taught classes there.
Yeah.
Way cool, super fun. And that's really where I decided that picture books is where I wanted to focus my efforts with my art, because art is a wonderful field to go into. If anybody out there listening, if you're interested in the arts and you're not really quite sure what path to take, there are so many options available to you, because art is really everywhere. And so if you are interested in this in this industry, you just have to kind of find what you're most passionate about. And picture books is really where I kind of found myself feeling the most passionate, and just started to kind of build my business from that point. And like I said, have been blessed to be able to enter this business as an author and an illustrator now.
Got some cool photos here of you over the years, sort of doing your thing. Tell us about this.
Oh, this is great. So I am originally from West Virginia, go Mountaineers. And I have only lived in Charlotte for about 5 years now. So I really, did a lot of my studying in West Virginia. And this is actually part of a painting studio that I was a part of for a couple years. It was called Da Vinci and Dessert. And we did paint and sip classes. And I also did kids classes. We did art camps and everything. And I painted that mural there on the back wall of our studio space. And the painting that I'm working on is one that I was instructing a class. So everybody has a canvas and paint, and they just kind of paint along with me step by step. And it was great for all ages. And I know for me, it really helped me work on my teaching skills, because now I go into schools and do school visits with my books. So this whole part of my life really helped prepare me for future, which, those are things that you never know will happen.
Yes. Right. And then it does. And then boom, there you are. Got another cool photo here. Well, actually, this beautiful illustration. Tell us about this.
Oh, yeah. So this was back before I got married. Ashley Teets was my maiden name there. And this is one of my very first postcards. When you are a working illustrator, something that you can do to promote your work is create a postcard that you can then send to art directors, editors, magazines, places that are looking to hire illustrators for work. So when I went to my course in 2013 at the Eric Carle Museum, that's really when I learned a lot of this. And while I was there, I also joined the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators, and really learned how to kind of conduct myself in this world and how to make the most of being an illustrator and getting your work out there as much as you can. And postcards was one of the first things that I learned. So I went to work. And with the pandemic, a lot of publishing houses have moved to operate virtually online versus being in the office. Some of them are back in the offices now, which is great. And then a lot of them are doing the hybrid thing where they're part-time in the office, part-time at home. So with postcards, it's not like it used to be where you would just do a mailing and send to offices. So now there's actually a virtual campaign online called #KidLitArtPostcardDay. It was started by an illustrator named Gina Perry, and started again out of the pandemic. And that's a way for you to post your postcard virtually online, and authors and editors and other illustrators, art directors all follow the hashtag so that they can see them that way too.
That's really, really cool, huh? That's
Yeah.
really fantastic. So it's given you a fantastic opportunity to just really learn and grow and expand through
Mhm.
all of it, with postcards being sort of the very first thing within. I think that's fantastic. Look at this shot we have.
Oh, yes. So this is the one that I am super excited to talk about today. This is actually the end papers for my upcoming picture book, Listen Up, Luella, that is being published by Feiwel Friends, an imprint of Macmillan. And I think that end pages are probably one of my favorite parts of a picture book. They're positioned right. As soon as you open the cover, it's the first thing that you see. So it's actually the page that's pasted down to the back side of the front cover, and then the first page that you turn. And sometimes they are a solid color. And then sometimes, like in this case, they can have illustration on them. And they're kind of an illustrator's dream come true, because they're for you. They're for the illustrator. They offer you a chance to kind of begin the story before the story.
Mm-hmm.
So it's when you're reading books to kids, end papers, if they're illustrated, is a great way for them to kind of try to guess what's going to happen, because they've seen the cover, they've seen the title, and then you turn to the end pages and it's like, oh, what do you see? And then the back end pages, which is this shot, can kind of finish off the story or show how the character has changed from A to B, the beginning to the end of the story.
That's really cool, huh? That's really fantastic. Got another great shot here too.
Oh, this is so fun. Oh, yay. Easter. This is a perfect one for this time of year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we thought. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So holiday illustrations are great. They are a great way to build your portfolio as an illustrator. When you are trying to get jobs, it's important for you to have a portfolio that you can show to editors, art directors, etc. And I know through SCBWI at their conferences, they have portfolio showcases where if it's an in-person conference, you put your portfolio on a table and everybody can come and flip through it. There are online versions of portfolios with conferences now where you upload a gallery of your images. And on my website, ashleybelote.com, I upload a lot of my holiday art on there as part of my portfolio. But they really serve as a great opportunity for inspiration, because a lot of the time, if you have complete creative freedom, it's really hard to come up with something. If they're like, well, just do anything you want.
Right.
But if you can focus them around a holiday, you have a starting point and a goal that you have to kind of work towards. So, if you say Easter, you can create an illustration that kind of revolves around that holiday. So that's the other advantage of doing the postcards, is it makes you create portfolio pieces, because a lot of the times we can get wrapped up in the work that we're doing. Like if we're working on a book or we're working on some type of poster campaign. So doing a postcard or a holiday illustration is a great way to make like a one-off piece that will really help add to your portfolio.
That's really fantastic. What's the process like? You're going to do a demo later on, but what's the process like? What inspires you to create the images, the art, the characters, the storylines?
So a variety of ways. I am very inspired by humor and comedies. I love comedies on TV. I love comedy movies. I love funny books, and I love joke books. Every time the book fair would come to our school, I would always come home with a joke book.
Me too. I love those.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're
I still
great.
actually have a box from when I got my very first one in 6th grade.
That is great.
Yeah.
I
And
love
those
that.
jokes are funny,
They are. They are. And
Do you know
speaking,
why the teacher wore sunglasses in the classroom?
I don't. Why?
Because she had such bright pupils.
Of course she did. That's fabulous.
See?
It's so fun to laugh, especially like with the current state of the world. I feel like any opportunity
We
that I
need it.
have to put something out there that's funny, I should take it. So I always try to incorporate humor into my art, and to me, that's inspiring. To make a kid laugh is like the best thing in the whole world. I just did a book signing last weekend, and there was this little boy who was looking through one of my books called The Me Tree, which is about a bear. And there's a scene in that book where there's a sloth taking too long in the bathroom, and Bear has to go to the bathroom.
Mm,
And this little kid flipped to that page and he just started giggling. And like, I didn't read it or anything. He just looked at the picture,
and
and
that was it.
that that is it. That is living the dream right there. So yeah, I'm inspired by things that I would find funny. Humor is very subjective.
Yeah.
When you're writing a humorous picture book, it's not going to be funny to everybody, but it will be funny to some people. So it's, when you're making a book, you shouldn't try to cater to everyone, because there's always going to be somebody who just
Didn't get the
doesn't.
joke.
Yeah. So you should really just make them for you and for what you think is funny. And in this
Because you're being
case,
authentic. Yeah. You're
yeah,
being
yeah.
you.
Absolutely. And someone's ideals will line up with yours and they'll think it's funny. I mean, I think that it's funny to have a sloth taking too long in the bathroom. There's a whole slew of
There's
opportunities.
humans that do that too.
There
So
are.
there's that relatability.
Yes. Oh, yes. And that's also the fun thing with picture book illustration, is when you can anthropomorphize an animal to make it do human
Human
things.
things, right?
So funny. And again, the opportunities are endless. And so a lot of the books that I have ideas for, they center around animals. And again, it's also, if you're looking for inspiration, it's a matter of just having an open mind. I think inspiration can kind of strike at any time, and you just
Yes.
have to be kind of like receptive to it and ready for it. So it's a wonderful business in that you can get inspired by literally anything at any time.
Were you inspired by that curtain that's hanging up behind you? Because that's very
Oh,
colorful, huh?
thank you. Yes, I just moved into a new house and I have my own art studio space now, which has been absolutely amazing. So I knew that I wanted all of the color that I could get. I wanted, I wanted this to look like an artist lives here. So thank you for noticing those. I appreciate it. Yes.
Always adding color whenever you can, right? I'm a big believer that we talk about that a lot on our show. Color and empathy, kindness,
Yes.
lots of levity, or a famous Jim Master show, levity. It's so important. I think the world has been lacking in a lot of those areas, and we need to sort of bring it back through what we do and the blessings that we are able to, provide through our expertise and our love of our craft. I think we're the blessed ones being able to do work in our respective careers, which have a lot of flow in and out of them too, to do work that we love, but also to be able to hopefully inspire people, entertain them, inspire them along the way, right? When
Most
you get to do
definitely.
that, you're sort of living the dream.
Absolutely. And, with picture books are a child's first opportunity to get into literacy, to get into art. And it's a big responsibility on a creator's part to make books that will teach, that will educate, that will inspire, that will entertain. And there's picture books out there about literally every single subject. Not every picture book needs to be funny. I just kind of gravitate towards that world. There are picture books that teach, really tough subjects, but they do it in a soft way that does not scare a child. So there's ways to teach kindness in books like you were talking about, and there's ways to teach tolerance, there's ways to teach about everything. And again, as a creator of picture books, you have to keep that in mind when you're making them, because you do want them to be understandable by the audience that you're writing for. You also have to impress the parents of these kids that are buying the books, or the teachers that are buying the books, the caregivers who are buying the books. So it's a unique balance, I would
Yeah,
say.
sure.
Yeah, but it's a fun challenge. Oh, and I know when I was a kid and my mom would watch movies for me, they would hide a lot of adult humor in movies that I didn't pick up on, but she did. So it was entertaining for her to watch too. So there's a lot of that happening in picture books also. As an illustrator, you can really do a good job of kind of sneaking in some things that will appeal more to parents than kids, and kids will just look at it as part of the drawing and like it because they like the picture, but the parent will
Yeah.
be like, that is funny. So,
So now have you gone back to re-evaluate those things that had that humor in it that the adults got then, and now sort of re-look at it yourself and say, oh, so that was what that meant.
yes. Yes, the best example is the show Rugrats.
Oh, yeah.
So my mom watched that entire thing with me when I was a kid, and I've gone back and watched some of those episodes, and I called her and I was like, this is funny. Yeah. So if you need a laugh, go back and watch that if you're an adult or if you're a kid.
Exactly right. That is funny. And again, humor is really, really important in life, and to be able to share it as much as possible is really crucial.
It is.
There is, of course, look at that. That's cool, huh?
Yes, this is part of I did actually a postcard cover reveal announcement for Listen Up Luella. A cover reveal is something that is happening a lot online, where either the publisher or the author or the illustrator can make a big deal about the cover of a book being debuted online. So there she is. There's Luella. And as part of the Kidlit Art Postcard Day online kind of postcard theme, I did a picture of the cover next to this picture and just said, hello, Listen Up Luella, with her pub date, which is June 21st of this year. It cannot get here soon enough. I am obviously super excited. So
Yeah. It's coming, which is exciting. Congratulations. And then we have this too.
yes. Oh, my slime books. Frankenstein. Oh,
Not
yes.
not many people get a chance to be able to say that.
I know.
It's my
I
slime
know.
books.
It's my slime books. Actually, FRANKENSLIME is the reason that I am, even here talking to you about Luella and all these other, things today. FRANKENSLIME was my very first kind of breakthrough into the industry. I was at an SCBWI, which is the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators organization's conference in North Carolina. And as part of those conferences, you can do portfolio reviews with art directors where you take your images from your portfolio and you have a one-on-one 15-minute session with them, essentially. And you can kind of present your work, talk about the types of art that you like, the books that you'd be interested in. And if you're an author, you can do the same thing with an editor. So you can send in a manuscript that an editor will read and then spend a few minutes giving you some feedback on what you can do to improve, what's working. And sometimes you get jobs from these things. So, and I've been working at this for a very long time, and I've had a lot of portfolio reviews, and I've taken all that great advice. And again, I started this back in 2013, and I mean, I've been illustrating since before then, but really, working in this industry since then. And I got the FRANKENSLIME deal after a portfolio review with art director Mallory Grigg from Macmillan. And I got that in 2019. So, I've spent a lot of time going to conferences, listening, working on my craft, honing my craft. And when I found out that she sent me an email offering me the FRANKENSLIME book deal, I was over the moon excited. I was actually working at the West Virginia Book Festival at the time in my mom's publishing company's booth. And I remember this, I was making a sale. Like, this lady had a stack of books and I was just kind of beeping them and checking them out. And I happened to look down at my phone while she was getting her credit card out. And I had this email from Mallory. And I thought to myself, I was like, did I sign up for a newsletter or something? That, like, why would she be emailing me? And it was her offering me the FRANKENSLIME deal. So it's been a whirlwind of blessings since then. And it's, like I said, it's so much fun. I mean, it's a book about slime. Come on.
That's it. Hey, right? Wasn't that what they poured on the heads on Double Dare and
Yes.
on Nickelodeon? Was that an inspiration for you?
Oh, yes. I mean, I used to watch Slime Time Live all the time on Nickelodeon. And for my 9th or 10th birthday, we went and got to watch one of the live shows, back in the back.
Mark Summers is the host. Yes.
And oh man, it was great. It was
Yeah.
read the manuscript. I was like, come on, this is totally my story. Let's do this. It is time.
So do you transport yourself back into your own childhood as you're creating the characters and doing this work? Do you become a kid so that way as you're becoming a kid or returning to childhood yourself, you're able to relate to the kids who are going to be enjoying the material because you're approaching it from a childlike perspective. So in order to do that, kind of like an actor or actress who's taking on a role and sort of morphs into the character, you're sort of morphing in as well. So you can make it so relatable through the illustrations, through the text, right? Is that how you pretty much do it?
Absolutely. I honestly don't think I ever left my childhood mindset. I think that I have always kind of been in this space mentally. I always think that things kids find funny are funny. I have the same level of humor as a 7-year-old, and everything they think is funny, I think is hilarious too. I have an almost 4-year-old niece right now, and we get each other. We are there. We are on the same level. We understand each other. So I know that I'm meant to be in this business.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know I did research. I know this morning you had Captain Crunch cereal for breakfast, and then you had some Nestle's Strawberry Quick, and you had a couple of Pop-Tarts, right?
I do love a Pop-Tart. The brown sugar are the best ones.
They are, aren't they?
Yes, thank you.
Don't ever grow up. I keep saying I am a big kid in adult clothing.
Yes, I feel like life is so much better when you approach it from that perspective. It's very hard to be an adult sometimes. And I think that when there's so many things that you can get bogged down with that you forget about the joy that you had when you were a kid, when you had no responsibilities. And it's okay to kind of go back to that space. And so I know that working is literally my favorite thing to do. I would rather work on my books than do anything else, because it does take me back to that space and that time. So yes, I definitely pull a lot of inspiration from my own childhood. And I know with FRANKENSLIME, I'll show you this. When I was a kid, I loved to go up to my mom's office because I thought working was like the coolest thing in the whole world to do. So, and she always had these notes everywhere. She had, sticky notes with reminders on it. So I used to just like scribble on pieces of paper and tape them to the wall because I was like, oh, I'm so busy. I have all these things to do. So in FRANKENSLIME, the main character's name is Victoria, and she's a little slime scientist. And her MO is that she is a scientist. She is a working professional. So she has all these little notes taped up everywhere. She's got some sticky notes, some legal pads, all these things so that she can kind of keep track of her day and her experiments and everything. So I pulled that characteristic of her from me, from my life. So there's a lot of personal aspects that I've experienced and of my personality that are just kind of present in my books, which again, as this industry is so unique in that you really can put a lot of your personal past or personal present into the work that you're doing. So that's definitely what I did in this particular story.
That's so cool. Now, how long did it take you to put that together?
Oh gosh. So this is one of my favorite questions to ask at a school visit. So I'll ask the kids, okay, now how long do you think it took me to make this book? And they'll be like, 1 week. I'm like, you are so confident in my skills. I really appreciate that. But it takes about a year to get everything done. I got the FRANKENSLIME deal in October of 2019. And granted, this one was a little bit rushed. That one didn't take as long as it does typically. I was finished with final art about June, July of 2020 for that one. And then it came out in July of 2021. So you work pretty far in advance, which is unique. When I tell my friends who aren't in the publishing business how far, like I'm working on a book right now that's coming out in 2023. So they're like, man, like you just work so far in advance. And I was like, I know, who knew? But yeah.
Is it because you're constantly inspired and you need to get it down and get it going? Because if you don't, the inspiration may fade. We had a couple of musical guests on, and they've said that when they're inspired and pieces of music come to them, they have to run right to the instrument, record it, capture it then, and make it move forward. Because if they just put it aside, it loses that umph and just the detail. Is that similar for you when you're inspiring, you're grabbing that sketch pad or you're jotting things down, trying to savor it and keep it captured? Even if you don't go and work on it immediately tomorrow, at least you've got that inspiration saved that you can tap back into later. Does that happen for you, Ashley?
100%. Yes. It's very similar to being a musician when you have, a sudden inspirational jolt of lightning, essentially. And I do keep notebooks everywhere. I keep a notebook by my bed. I keep a notebook right outside of the shower, because the shower, I don't know what it is about being in the shower getting ideas. So, you just need to, when you are a creative person and inspiration strikes, you understand that it's like, oh my gosh, what if this is the last great idea I ever had? I have to write it down right now. So yes, I have a notebook in the car. And it's
kind of like a journal almost.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you never know, like we were talking about earlier, inspiration can strike at any time. And it's wonderful to be a part of something where that happens. And it's also something that I feel like I owe it to my imagination to like record these things, because I know I'm not going to remember. So I have to write it down. Yeah. So I've got multiple lists of ideas. And sometimes if it's like a middle of the night idea, I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I am a genius. I had the most fantastic idea. And then I'll read it in the morning and I was like, what does this even say? Like, this doesn't make any sense. That can't be a book. But sometimes they pan out. So you never know.
You never know, and you just go with it, right? You just go with it, and you sort of enjoy it and just make it happen, and that's a beautiful thing. I wanna show a couple more cool things. Look
Yes.
at this.
Oh, yay, the me tree. Yes, this was my first author illustrator early reader book. And this is the one I was talking about with the sloth spread in there. And so in the me tree, this is kind of born out of the pandemic idea. The main character is Bear right there holding all the boxes. And Bear just wants to be alone. He is tired of living in a squished cave up against all these bears. So he buys a tree house because he wants to be alone. But what he doesn't know is that the tree house was already the home to a number of uninvited guests. And you can see
Nice.
one there kind of on the roof and even there in the title. So there's some squirrels and a sloth, and the animals just get more and more outrageous. There's a giraffe who kind of slinks all the way through the window, up the chimney and out the top. And so Bear becomes increasingly frustrated and asks them all to leave. But then once they're gone, he finds all these little notes that the animals have written him, telling him how much they love him and how much they love, doing whatever activity it is that they like to do with him. So of course he feels bad about what he's done. So he apologizes. So it teaches that. And then he invites all the animals to come back. And then together they transform what was the me tree into the we tree and make a place where they can all live together.
That's cool, huh?
Yes,
And
it
that's the
was.
bottom line, the living together in harmony and unison. Positive messages in the stories are essential, right, for you?
Yes, absolutely. Again, the world is hard. The world is hard for kids now. I mean, the world was hard when I was a kid, but the world is way harder, it seems like now, for kids. So if there's any opportunity for them to escape into a book and I can be there to create something for that moment, that is what I feel like I'm meant to do. And again,
Yeah.
my particular avenue with this is via humor. But that's definitely not the only one. That's just really what I kind of gravitate towards. And while you can present funny or you can present serious subjects, just like in a movie or a show, having comic relief, I think, is really great. So there's always an opportunity, especially when it comes to the art, for you to just
Yeah.
kind of add in something funny in the background that will help kind of elevate the mood a little bit if it is a serious subject.
Who are some of the folks that have inspired you, illustrators, folks of that nature, over the years as you've been coming up and still inspire you today, some of their work?
There are so many. The first and probably my biggest inspiration is Molly Idle. And I've said this in interviews before, but she is an amazing artist. She works traditionally with pencil, paper, colored pencil, which I work digitally now, but her line quality is absolutely stunning. And it was important for me to learn from someone who has done so much and has been so successful, because, and especially like a female illustrator, I felt very strongly about that. And it shows that you really can kind of do anything, that anything is possible. And she is a
Anything is
gold
possible,
medalist.
right?
Yes, she is a fantastic inspiration. Her book that won the Caldecott Flora and the Flamingo, if you haven't looked at that, I would definitely recommend checking that out. It is a beautiful wordless picture book, which is like probably, in my opinion, the hardest thing to do as an illustrator, because while, yes, you can convey a lot through illustration, sometimes the words can really help. And in her case, she didn't have any words to help. So it is a true mastery of art to tell an entire story visually it carries entertainment, but it also carries quite a bit of emotion with it. And that is just an amazing thing to be able to do. And I've not done any wordless picture books yet. I've tried to do a few wordless scenes where I've got like 3 different spreads that don't have any words on them. That's just to try it, to kind of challenge myself, because as an illustrator and as an author, you're always learning. There's always something else you can learn. You can always be better. So I think it's important to present yourself with challenges like that. and just to help yourself grow in your creativity. So yeah, definitely Molly Idol.
It's amazing how many picture books have come out. They've even done it on, adult books, meaning, well, not adult, but the Bible. I've
Hmm.
seen the Bible as a picture book too.
Hmm.
So everybody can sort of sink their teeth in it, maybe with the visuals, and
Yeah.
it's easier for kids to read and
Hmm.
absorb or to visualize what's happening.
Yeah.
It's amazing how some of the things that have been here since the beginning of time almost are turned into these kinds of works. Isn't that
Yes.
fascinating?
It really is, honestly, and it can convey a lot. A picture truly is worth 1,000 words. There's so much that you can get out of a simple image. And yes, like, using the Bible, I know that there are illustrated editions of Harry Potter out right now, and it's really a way to present work to an audience in a way that they will understand it more thoroughly, because kids understand picture, well, as a society we're extremely visual, but kids
Yes.
understand pictures so much. And I think it's brilliant. Every time, when I remember being in kindergarten and first grade, I always did better on assignments that involved images. I'm an extremely visual person. I'm
Me
a
too.
visual learner. Yes. And, with like learning math, if somebody tells you how to do it, I cannot understand it. I have to see how it works or I don't get it. And so I think that, using visuals is becoming a more prominent thing because a lot of society relies on images now. So yeah, with picture books, it's great for us because, that's what we do. So yeah, definitely the visual culture is key.
It's key, which is really, really cool. Here's another great shot. Look at that. Hey.
Bear. That is Bear writing his apology note to all the animals that he asked to leave. And I'm a big supporter of family. So instead of saying dear animals or dear whatever, he says dear family. And a lot of kind of the underlying inspiration for the Me Tree came from the fact that when I was growing up, I'm an only child, and we just didn't have a huge family right near where we lived. So a lot of my parents' friends were my like pseudo aunts and uncles. So I grew up around a family of people that I wasn't actually related to. So in Bear's case, none of these animals match. There's squirrels, there's a sloth, there's a giraffe, there's a bear, but they are a family, and I wanted to show that. So it was, and there's some more notes that the animals left for Bear, and you can this one, and then there's a huge pile of notes that appears earlier in the book. Those ones were probably the most time consuming pieces because every little line on there I drew. So it is time consuming in the most wonderful possible way.
When you look at that, it's just absolutely amazing. I'm looking at that and I'm just staring at it and I'm saying to myself, how long did it take Ashley to do that?
Yeah. So with that piece, like I can probably, if I do nothing else, I can probably do a piece like that in a day and a half. But my artwork is extremely detailed. I loved looking, like when I was a kid, I loved books that had teeny tiny details that I could kind of go back and search through. So when I was able to do my own books, I knew that I wanted to create art for those kids like myself who love to just like nitpick every little teeny tiny thing. And that piece took a long time, but this piece took longer. This is the one that I was talking about with the huge pile of notes. So that one took a couple days because there's like, I wanted to make sure that you could read everything that you could see too. I think that's important because I know when you start to look at these details that you want to be able to read some of these things and to see a picture or something. So I took the time to try to make every little word visible and, add as much detail as I possibly could. So that one probably is one of the spreads that took me the longest probably in my career as a whole.
Yeah. But worth it, right?
Oh,
Worth it. Oh,
totally worth it. Yeah.
yeah, always worth it, which is the bottom line because, people get so inspired and just love it so much. We've got
Yeah.
another couple of these are cool. These like book
Yay.
signings.
Yes. So when FRANKENSLIME came out back in July of 2021, I set up a lot of book signings that took place kind of throughout the fall because FRANKENSLIME definitely has kind of like a Halloween spin to it. It's very Frankenstein-esque, so it's going
Yeah.
to kind of align with Halloween ideals. So I did a bunch of school visits in October, and I traveled from North Carolina back up to my hometown of Terra Alta, West Virginia, and stopped at several schools along the way, including in this picture, my alma mater, Alderson Broaddus University in Philippi, West Virginia. And I stopped and they were super nice. They set up this table for me to do a book signing, and I got to see a lot of my former professors, and it was really cool to be back. And the T-Rex that I'm standing in front of is actually a mural that I painted while I was in school there. The science building has two huge stairwells on either side of the building. And one of the professors at the time who worked in the science building, he contacted the art department because he is like, the stairwells are so boring. Can we paint something on them? And I was like, that is a fabulous idea. So they pulled the art department. They're like, would anybody be interested in doing this? And I was like, yes, totally. And nobody else thought that it would be that fun. And I was all about it. So I did the whole thing. It was 3,000 square feet and again, it's a stairwell. So it's, sections of walls and stairs. So I sketched up everything. And Dr. Unger was the professor at the time who I worked with in the science department. And so the mural is basically the biological progression of life. It starts at the top floor with the periodic table because that's all the elements that, kind of make up the world. And then the periodic table breaks off into atoms that then form molecules and DNA. And then we go into sea life because there's some very early organisms. And then we move into fish and then dinosaurs, birds, and then we just kind of come into modern times and show some wolves and a giraffe. And I have a giraffe thing, I think. But yeah, it was a huge undertaking that I worked through. I worked on it for my entire senior year. Just like after cross country practice, I would run up there and paint for a few hours, and then on the weekends and stuff, and through the summer before my senior year. So it was a big project, but AB is a family, like, talking about family, they are extremely supportive of their alumni. And I have really enjoyed going back here over the past few years to see everything there.
There's another great one, huh?
Oh, yes. This was, so that image, the piece of paper that I'm holding up is actually what kind of got me started with the Me Tree. I was teaching an art camp in Charlotte, and we did cabbage prints where you take like a piece of cabbage and fan it out and press it into paint and then press it onto the paper, and it makes this print. And I thought this was my demo piece, and I thought it looked like a tree. So I drew this like little bear, and then I drew this squirrel. And then I was like, well, the bear would probably want to be like all alone in this tree and not want anybody else around. And so I wrote like a very, very rough, quick manuscript on the back of that paper. And the original title was Who's in My Tree? So and I tried to write it in rhyme. Writing in rhyme is really, really difficult. So
Yes.
I took it out of rhyme when I, decided to go with it, but it took some convincing because it's, for some reason, I don't know why, but sometimes it's easier to get things out in rhyme. And then I guess because you just kind of flow, I don't know, but I did end up taking it out of rhyme. So
That is funny. There's another great shot.
oh yes, all my friends, I'm serious, kids are the best. There is nothing like seeing a kid light up when they get a book. This is a shot from my FRANKENSLIME book signing at a local bookstore near where I live in Davidson, North Carolina, called Main Street Books. And they have this great store with this amazing stage, in an outdoor patio area behind their building. So I did it was a slime and sign event. So we made
Slime
slime
and sign. I
and
love
then I
that.
signed books. Yeah. And whenever I do school visits, I'm always asking the teachers, like, well, I can make the slime. And some of them are like, oh, yeah, that would be great. And others are like, no, no, no. But in this case, the bookstore was all about it. So we had about 50 kids show up, and I had like there's picnic tables back there. So we used the picnic tables, and we just made 4 different sections, and all my little slime scientists took turns mixing everything. And
Wow.
it's I love STEM and STEAM books because
Yeah.
they offer so much more than entertainment, which while entertainment is great and appropriate, it's so cool when you can also learn something while being entertained, and FRANKENSLIME and VALENSLIME definitely do that.
Now you want to do a demonstration for us live. I think a couple, but what would you like to do for us now, Ashley?
So I think we should start out by celebrating LOUELLA. So I was saying before I jumped on that this is the proof of LOUELLA. I don't have the actual books yet because, again, it doesn't come out until June. But this is what's called a proof, and it's a piece of paper proof that shows you what the book will look like once it is here. So this is the front cover, and it's actually really long because it shows the back cover as well. So you can see the front with the back cover. Way cool, with my picture on the back, which is awesome. So they send you these proofs, and then you have to approve them. And it's also a chance for you to make kind of fix any mistakes that you've made. And it is crazy how many little tiny things I found when I looked at it printed out versus looking at it on the screen. So I'm really glad that I got the chance to do that. And, the art directors catch things too. There wasn't anything like horrifically wrong, but there were like some missing eyebrows. A couple characters only had like one eyebrow. And I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? So it's a great opportunity to kind of fix those things. But since we are talking about LOUELLA, we are going to learn how to draw LOUELLA today. So whenever you're drawing, it's really important to break things down into shapes. Everything is a shape. If you look around your house, everything is a shape. So if you're ever having problems drawing anything, if you can break things down into shapes, it really helps kind of fix any problems. The other thing is, if we have any kiddos out there listening right now, you should be proud of every single drawing that you make. I know that sometimes we can make drawings that we don't think look good, but that's not true, because did we try? Yes. And as long as we try our best, that's what really matters. And you have to practice and practice and practice to get better and better. And I know when I'm drawing a character, the first time I draw it, it's okay. I'm proud that I have tried. But I know that I can do better. I'll draw it again and it's better. So it's just like practicing a sport.
That is cool. Before I went into television and radio and film and stage and all, I studied architecture and design, took a lot of mechanical drawing classes, and still love design and architecture as well. Still very, very involved with it. So, I used to do the art instruction school, and I used to mimic the Sunday morning cartoons, the funnies that, in the newspaper on Sundays at the comic section. And I would redraw, not trace, but redraw some of the funny, the Lockhorns and some of the funny Sunday morning cartoons. And I have books that I've kept from when I was doing mechanical drawing, but pulled out from junior high school where I was doing that. And I love it. I'm like, wow, I remember doing that. That was so much fun, opportunity to express creativity in so many different ways. I loved a fantastic new box of crayons, and when they came out with the 64, it was like a real upgrade.
Oh, I know. And the stuff that they have now, oh man. I mean,
now it's just like,
I always walk through the arts and crafts, the office supplies sections at the store, because there's so many cool things. I mean, but yes, there is nothing like opening a fresh box of crayons. That is an experience that everybody needs to have through adulthood.
Now, I know there's two schools of thought, and there is in a lot of areas of the arts. There is with music, there is with television, there is with film, and
Mhm.
that is the old school versus the new school. So even with film, there's the debate in terms of film being shot on actual warm film
Mhm.
or digital
Right.
movies.
Right.
Music the same way,
Mhm.
real instruments and an orchestra and band and real people, or digitized, recreated,
Right.
synthesized sounds, auto
Mhm.
tune. And same thing when it comes to illustrating. You have the digital advantages, but then there's some who still by hand they're doing it. Just thinking about all the years of all the people that worked with Disney that did, Snow White and Pinocchio and all of these epics by hand, and then those animations were brought to life. Do
Mhm.
you lean one way or the other, or do sort of dip into each, or are you more geared towards one versus the other, or you just appreciate both?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I love talking about this. I really am when it comes to my picture book illustration, the color, I'm a digital fan. Just because you can get different type of color quality digitally than you can traditionally. But I love to sketch traditionally. So I'll still sketch with pencil and paper. And I love watercolor and gouache. Those are my favorite mediums to work with. So if I am working traditionally, I'll use those. When I was talking earlier about Molly Idle, all of her books are created traditionally. And it gives you a different feel. And in picture book illustration, there is a specific type of art and an artist suited for every story out there. So different stories require different styles of art. So some stories require soft watercolor tones, some require big digital hard color. And I think with mine, I'm kind of blended between the two because I have a kind of traditional spin on digital artwork. I choose brushes that aren't very compact in color. So vector illustration is very clean, crisp lines. And I don't necessarily gravitate towards that because it looks, in my opinion, like that type of art doesn't fit the stories that I am telling.
Too perfect looking, or
Yeah, it's extremely perfect looking and, hard edges and everything. And I like softer lines. I like blended color, but it's kind of a delicate balance because if you look at some, like 3D rendered cartoons, they're kind of shiny, they're very round, very straight, very hard. And that's great again for those to tell some of those stories. But with mine, I want you to be able to see my hand a little bit. And that's hard to do in digital because your brushes are so consistent with patterns. So even if you have some breaks in a line to get the texture that you would from a pencil, it's still repeated in a pattern. So to combat that, I have learned to kind of change my brush sizes as I'm working so that it doesn't look as perfect as digital can. So I'll sketch traditionally because that's how I feel most comfortable kind of getting my imagination onto the paper. And then I will actually import it into Procreate, which is a program that I use on my iPad. And that's how I'll add the color. And I'll retrace some of my lines sometimes digitally if I need to. But I always start that way because there's no substitution for dragging a pencil across a piece of paper. You just they have these like screen protectors that you can put on an iPad now that gives you the feel of a piece of paper. And those are great, but still not quite the real thing. So I think it's important if you are a working illustrator to keep your traditional skills sharpened because that's how we all kind of start. But the color quality that you can get with digital artwork is amazing. And also the file transfer is very nice. When I'm finished with a piece, I just upload it to the art director versus scanning and sending a scan of an original or putting original artwork in the mail and sending it off. That makes me a
scared?
little
Yeah,
scared.
you
Yeah,
start palpitating and
a smidge. Yeah. So but like I said, every story requires a different style. And I'm very much into what digital art can help me do.
and appreciate the traditional at the same time. So you could
Yes.
have both. You can listen
Right.
to, MP3s, but you also every once in a while can pull out some vinyl.
Yes. Absolutely right. Yes. Perfect
Yes.
example.
And appreciate it all. So love to see your exclusive Gym Masters Show live demonstration. If you guys are just joining us, Ashley Belote is here, award-winning illustrator, children's book author. This is the Gym Masters Show live. If you're watching for the first time, we would love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Gym Masters TV. It's very easy to do. Just click that, talk that about illustrations. There's a beautiful red button on our YouTube channel that YouTube illustrated and created. And it looks like that. It's simple. It's square. It's red. And look what happens when you subscribe.
Now
Also,
that's a well
that
done
is
piece.
really amazing, isn't it?
It
And
is.
and then also give us a like and leave a
Yeah.
comment on our YouTube channel as well if you're enjoying this episode and any of the episodes you enjoy, like the one with Ashley here. So she's got her pad all ready to go. Here she is,
All
live
right.
demo on the Gym Master Show Live, Ashley Belote.
Thank you. So, like I was saying earlier, if any of you watching are drawing along with me today, the important thing to remember is that nobody can draw what you can draw. So like I was saying, if you make a picture sometimes that you're not as happy with, you should be so proud because you are the only person who could have drawn that. So no matter what you think of your piece, you should always be extremely proud. So what we're going to do is we are going to start off by drawing Louella's head first. And you want to hold your paper portrait that's up and down versus landscape, which is side to side like this. So we're going with the portrait. And when we start drawing, we're going to start with her head. So we want to start towards the top of our paper so that we have plenty of room to draw her body. So we're going to start with a curved line for the top of her head. And next we're going to draw her ears so she can hear, because again, the title is Listen Up, Louella. So she needs to hear us. So we're going to come in with a line like this and then dip down for her first ear. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to move to the other edge now and this and come down here. So we have her ears. And now we're going to add her body. And again, everything is a shape. We're making this very simple for everybody so that we can follow along. We're going to come down like this, and that's going to be one side of her body. And then we're going to come down on the other side for the other side of her body. And we're going to add her feet on next. So when we're doing her feet, it's just a curved line for the bottom of one foot there, and then a curved line at the bottom for her other foot. And now we're going to connect the rest of her body this way. So she is standing up just like a person. Again, I love to anthropomorphize animals and make them do human-like things. So in this case, she stands on 2 feet. So we're going to draw her waving at us. Louella's going to be very friendly and happy to see everybody today. So one arm over there, and the other arm is going to hang to the side over here. And now we're going to add her face. So we're going to draw her trunk, 1 and 2, and kind of make those shapes meet. And her eyes are ovals with little circles for her pupils. And a great tip for character drawing is if you can leave a little white spot in the pupil of a character's eyes, it's a little white highlight in the pupil, that really brings life into your characters. It does a great deal to help them look like there's a spark in there. So we're going to do that today. So we have one oval on this side and one oval on this side. And the little circles with, again, a little spot of white just left right in there. So again, she's got this little spark, this little highlight, which is great. And now we're going to add her mouth. She's going to be smiling because she's so happy to be here today and to see all of you. And you can color that in here. And now we get to add some of the fun details. Again, I love details. So we're going to add little details to her arms over here. And we're going to add some details to her feet, little toes. And we're going to add some details to her ears. Just a couple of action lines here. Just a little bit of detail. And Luella does have eyelashes and eyebrows, so we have to add those too. So 1, 2, 3 little teeny tiny eyelashes. And 1, 2, 3. Something that is probably one of the most challenging things of being an illustrator is character consistency. So if she has 3 eyelashes on one page, she needs 3 eyelashes on every single page. So it's something that you have to really watch. And again, when you get your proofs and you go back and you see some things missing, that's a great opportunity to kind of fix those. But character consistency is a must. And then she's got 2 little eyebrows here. And in some cases, you can see Luella's tail. So we'll kind of make a little tail here off to the side. So there is our character Luella. And the very last step that we have to do is, as an artist, it is super important to always sign your work. So when you're finished, you want to sign your name at the bottom. And there is Luella. You all, I can tell, did a fabulous job. I can hear so much applause for yourselves in the internet out there.
You've got great hearing too.
Well,
That is
thank you.
fantastic. Was there something else you wanted to also do while you're there?
I would love to. So I will show you a picture of who we're going to draw next. So with FRANKENSLIME and VALENSLIME, in the story of FRANKENSLIME, we create a slime monster. And the monster's name is Goop. And Goop is back in VALENSLIME. And Goop is this great slime monster right here.
Wow.
And he is a fun character to draw. He is great. He has some awesome expressions. He is kind of the character that can get into all these situations, and it's not necessarily great for him, but it's really funny for the rest of us to watch.
Right.
Again, that comic relief is a must. So we are going to draw Goop today. And the fun thing about drawing Goop is that Goop is a slime monster. And if you've ever drawn slime before, you know that it's a bunch of fun curved lines. And if you've not drawn slime before, I'm assuming that you've probably maybe played with it before. And if you've played with slime, you know that it's kind of goopy and drippy, and, you know, bunch of different shapes can come from slime. So if your Goop becomes a different shape than the one that I'm drawing, that is totally fine. It does not have to match completely. Again, what we talked about, everybody's artwork is different. So Goop is fun because he really can kind of morph into any shape. Okay.
Yes, that's cool.
So, Goop is coming up next. So again, we're holding our paper portrait up and down versus landscape. So portrait. And again, we're going to start with his head. So we're going to start towards the top of our paper. Now, when I was talking about shapes earlier, that really comes in handy when we're drawing Goop, because he's made up of a lot of shapes. First, we're just going to draw an oval, and this will actually be his head. So we're going to come in and draw a really long oval and connect it back. And that will actually serve as his head and his big smile. So this is a really fun one to draw if you're super little in like preschool even. All right, next we're going to draw Goop's body. Again, super fun curved lines. We're going to come down and down on this side. And then we're just going to connect our 2 sides and come all the way around here. So at this point, he kind of looks like a mushroom. I've heard kids say it looks like a stretched piece of bread. I mean, lots of different things. But again, he's a slime character, so he's goopy. He's also something that we call symmetrical. He is not symmetrical. That means that something is the same on both sides. So if you look at your face and you put your hand in your face, you know, one eye on this side, one eye on this side, Goop doesn't always have to look that way because, again, he's a morphing character who changes shapes. So we're going to do one arm on this side, kind of come up and drip down. And again, if your other arm doesn't look exactly like this, totally fine, because it's a slime character. He's going to have both of his arms up, like he's super excited today. And another arm that kind of goops down over there. And now we're going to draw his feet. And Goop has flat pancake feet. And something fun to do with Goop is to draw him standing in a puddle of slime. I imagine him to have some characteristics of like a slug, where when he walks, he kind of leaves a trail of slime behind. So we're just going to draw a fun puddle of slime here that he can stand in. All right, so now we are going to move on to Goop's face. So very similar to Luella, the eyes are 2 ovals with 2 circles, and we're also going to use our trick of leaving a small highlight in the eye to kind of bring some life in there. So his eyes are kind of towards the bottom of that oval, 1 circle followed by another circle, and we're going to put 2 pupils in there. So one with a little white spot and one with another little white spot there. And in the book, the characters all wear safety goggles because they're scientists and science needs safety first. So we have to draw his safety goggles, which just kind of contour around the eyes here. So safety goggles. And then if you've ever worn goggles to do a science experiment, or if you've been swimming and you've got goggles on to help you see underwater, there's a strap that goes around your head that keeps the goggles on. So Goop has that with his goggles too. So one side of the strap over there and one side of the strap over here. And he does also have some eyebrows. Every time you have eyebrows on a character, it's a great opportunity to bring in expression, because eyebrows can be extremely expressive. So he's going to be pretty excited. And there are his eyebrows. So now, again, the very last thing that we have to do is we have to sign our work. So you can sign there at the bottom. And we have Goop.
There is Goop. And you don't have anything on your hands either.
Nope. Nope. That one I came out clean with. I don't always come out clean, but
that one you came out clean with, which is really, really fascinating. And to watch it, to actually see the process, before our eyes. What's happening to you when you're doing it? Are you like, I know you've become a kid again, or you've never even left being a kid, but what is happening to you as you're doing it? Obviously, it's bringing you as much as it brings us great pleasure and joy, it's doing that for you at the same time, right? It's sort of like a full circle experience, isn't it?
It really is. It's like I said in the beginning, drawing is literally my favorite thing to do. People ask if I have hobbies, which no, I just draw. It is my favorite thing to do, because it offers an escape sometimes. I mean, yes, it's my job, that's how I make my living, but it's a time for me to live in my imagination and not worry about what's happening outside in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody, I feel like that's why everybody really needs a creative outlet.
Yes.
It really can help if you're stressed. Oh my gosh, coloring.
Oh, I've had that with this. When I created the Gym Masters show live, it's been a similar experience in terms of people writing to me constantly in a beautiful way with very heartfelt messages through email or through texting, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, however, they can do it, and sort of pouring out their hearts in terms of how what we're doing here sort of inspires them. And it's a place to come. It isn't just a place for an interview. It's a conversation. There's a vibe, there's a feeling, there's the levity. And it's this kind of thing that we sort of created. I turned the lights on and just started talking to camera, and then guests started it didn't start with guests. It started with me talking to the world at large as a host, which is what I do. One of the things I do. And it sort of morphed and grew, and it's become this levity situation that goes even beyond what, this is here, which I think is amazing. So, and I'm sure you've had that too. People will write letters. I've had it in my professional career in television, radio, cards and letters, but this has really been sort of an icing situation on the cake, in how it's bringing people together. And as much as we're, celebrating what each of us does, we're sort of creating this incredible community, which I think is amazing. And It's about bringing people together. And like you said, for the time that they're here watching our show and the time that they are consuming your fabulous art, it takes them away from the chaos of everyday life, the
Yeah.
fear, the stress, the worry. Is that one of the reasons why you went into this? It was this part of your escape? You know, I say this, another reason why now this is for professional work, television news magazine show. I was flown out to Burbank, California, and I interviewed this extraordinary woman who has been, she draws, she paints, she does it all. She's now about 91 years old.
Oh my
She's
gosh.
done it since the age of 4, when her mother put paper on the kitchen floor and gave her some crayons, and she started that way. And really, her name is Alice Asmar. She's extraordinary. So we went to her home, and she has her studio as part of her home there in Burbank. And we did a day of filming, and it turned into an a Telly award-winning documentary as well, which was really, really cool. But as we were chatting and learning about what she does, and the beautiful work she does, you know, by hand. She does by hand. It's all still traditional, some digital, but still traditional. She was talking about, she was also an only child. And so she created characters that she, you know, because there weren't in the house, there was friends, you know, to play with, but then you would come home and they would have their brothers and sisters, and she wouldn't. So she created this world and all of these different characters and animals, and she even created, I think, a baby brother, and showed her mother and said, this is what I want, at like 5 years old.
Oh no.
And so she really, I mean, it seems like a kindred thing that she created this world, and in a beautiful way, and shares it with the world. And it sounds like you've done that as well.
Yes, I love knowing about this. That is great. I will have to go look that up, because I definitely kind of gravitated towards it, probably for some similar reasons. I did spend a lot of time by myself, being an only child, but I never really minded.
You created your world, yeah.
Yeah, I liked being by myself, and I didn't have, issues making friends. Like, I had a lot of great friends in school, and I have a lot of wonderful friends now, but my characters are my friends too. And honestly, like, when I finish a book, I'm a little sad because I'm not drawing them anymore. And
Yes. Yeah, you're
yes,
personally invested and you are
mhm,
attached to them,
yes.
which leads me, one of the viewers, one of our Jim Master Show Lovities, they've been commenting throughout. Linda in Florida says, have you ever thought of making your illustrations, drawings, and books into like a TV series, a TV show?
Thank you for saying that, Linda. Yes, I would love it. Actually, part of my education was a 2D animation course that was instructed by Don Bluth, who is a legend in traditional animation. And the way that he is able to take a still image and make it come to life through video is remarkable. I mean, he's the one who did the first Land Before Time movie. I mean, he is a legend. Like, when you Google him, it's amazing. The titles just keep coming, what he worked on. But
It's
that,
incredible, huh?
yes, yes. And like, being instructed by somebody like him was not only inspirational, but I learned so much technically. And so I've actually started to, this is an experiment. I like to experiment with my stuff. So I've been trying to animate Luella traditionally. And when you learn animation, you learn very basic things first. And one of those is squash and stretch. So you animate a ball that bounces up and down, because when it hits the ground, the ball expands. And then as it goes back up, it becomes a circle again. So it's And then you do a walking cycle where you make a character walk from one side of the screen to the other. And so I've been trying to animate her walking across the screen because I would totally love to do a show with her. I also think FRANKENSLIME and VALENSLIME would kind of translate well into a great series, just because like when you start thinking about slime experiments and what can go wrong with them, like the
Yeah.
possibilities are endless.
Are endless, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I really appreciate that question. That is, it's a fun thing to think about, and I would love it.
What are some of the other exciting things that you have coming up that you are working on, Ashley?
So I actually have a sequel to the Me Tree called A Partridge in the Wee Tree. And it is a Christmas book, which will be out on
Wow.
October 11th. Yes, I am really excited. So Bear is back. And this time, since we've made amends and all the animals are living happily together, now Christmas has arrived. And what happens at Christmas? Your family comes to visit.
Yes.
So all the animals, so Bear is kind of back to, we have some squirrels, we have all these things coming in. There's a flock or a group of manatees. I don't know what the plural term of that would be, but there's so many fun animals in this. And so they all come in for Christmas, and there's a cute little holiday surprise at the end. So I'm excited about that one. And then I'm actually working on a few picture book dummies for new ideas. And a dummy, if anybody doesn't know what that means, it's when you have your manuscript written out. If you're an author-illustrator and you're writing and illustrating it, you write out the story, and then you do sketches for each spread, and you put them together so that when you submit it, it looks like, the book. You can see all the spreads with the words and what page everything is supposed to go on. So that's how you kind of package your ideas for submission. So I'm working on a couple different dummies of some fun ideas, mostly animal characters with a couple spunky kids in there, which is always kind of fun. So I have
Yeah.
lots of ideas that I've written on those random notepads that are just kind of laying around.
That's so cool. Now, when you do the Christmas one, are you going to do an image of that fruit cake? The fruit cake that people have been passing around for like 50 years. There's only one fruit cake in this world, and they
Yes.
just pass it from house to house to house. I don't think
Oh,
anybody
yes.
eats it. They
No.
just pass it on.
Yes. It's one of those things that you have because you feel obligated, but nobody really likes.
Nobody.
If you find somebody who likes it, they will
Wow.
probably get fruitcake for every single holiday
Forever.
forever.
Forever, right?
Yes, there are some definite holiday cliches in there. There's a really fun scene with Bear and some Christmas lights because, everybody buys Christmas lights, and it's beautiful and everything, and you get them out of the box and you plug them in, but then you put them away, and then you get them out next year, and what happens? They're this big mess. No matter what you do to them, they're just tangled up and a huge mess. So there's a fun scene of Bear kind of getting trapped in some Christmas lights that I can personally appreciate. So
Yes, which is really it is really fantastic. Toby says, "Bring on the banana bread." She'll do the banana bread, but there's no votes here for
no
Maureen.
notes, huh?
Maureen in Arizona, fruitcake equals doorstop.
Doorstop.
Although
Yes.
Merlin in Ontario, Canada likes dark fruitcake.
Ooh,
All
I've never
right,
heard of
get
that.
ready. UPS is going to show up at your door over the
Whoa.
holidays, Merlin, for sure. And our friend Kevin, who was a guest on our show as well, Kevin D. Miller, Headline Books, of course, where you can find the awesome books. Absolutely. If people do want to make, contact and find the books and find the material, where can they go? Is Amazon, Headline Books, your website? What's best?
Yes. I've worked on a lot of books for Headline Books, and that's kind of how I got started working in the independent publishing world with Headline Books, which fantastic company. They have so many amazing titles, very active authors, a great school show program that really kind of helped me grow in this business. So yeah, a lot of my books are on the Headline Books website. And then when I got the FRANKENSLIME job, that's when I've really kind of moved to working with these big publishers. And there are so many differences that I have learned about, and it's all amazing. Like, the publishing in general is just an amazing business, and I love it so much. So my FRANKENSLIME and VALENSLIME and the Me Tree, and those books can be found on my website, ashleybelote.com. There's links to where you can buy all those books. Those ones are available on Amazon, on Barnes and Noble. If you want to, I'm a huge supporter of indie bookstores. So if you want to support an indie store, you can find them through indiebound.com.
Yeah, that's great.
I love IndieBound. Yeah. And bookshop.org also is a great resource for buying books. So yeah, those books are, found wherever books are sold. And then yes, Headline Books is a great reference, as well as their books are also available on the Amazons of the world and everything like that.
Why do you love what you do? It's so obvious you're passionate about it, and it brings you great blessing and joy. And why is that, Ashley? You've been doing it for a long time.
I have, everybody is meant to do something. And I have prayed a lot, about what is it that I am meant to do. And the answer has kind of always been there. I've always drawn, similar to the story you were telling about the other artist. When I was 2 years old, my mom needed to do something really important, and I was there. So she put some paper down and some crayons and just let me, mess around. And so she jokes that I never put it down. And it is really, I love it so much because it is me. I am art. Art is me. And it is truly part of my identity. And I know that this is what I am meant to do. And again, I'm so thankful for that, because sometimes it takes a while to learn what it is that we're really passionate about.
Right.
And it's, like we were saying earlier as well, it's truly an escape. And it was a way for me to have, companionship at home. And even when I was in college and I had a roommate and everything, I would still just draw and kind of go into my world. And while I would participate in, the other world, I would be so excited to come back to my own space and create and live in this imaginative place where everything is funny and challenging and happy and productive. And it is me.
Are there other things that also influence you, faith, other things in your life that come into play?
Yes, my mom is a huge inspiration of mine. She runs Headline Books by herself and has been doing that for years and years now. And growing up with her, it was always her and I together. It was the two of us. It still is the two of us.
Kathy?
Yes, that is
Kathy
Kathy
Teets.
Teets. Yes.
Mhm.
She is an absolutely amazing person, not just because she's my mom, but because of what she has been able to do with her company. And she raised me, by herself since I was 12. And we went to shows together. We worked together. And while she is my mom, she is my friend now and my business partner. She's so many different things to me. And she has come through breast cancer. She has come through the pandemic. She, rallied her business. She created this whole new business called Zoom Into Books as a result of the pandemic, because when that hit, all of our book shows were canceled. And that's how she meets new authors. That's how she gets her books out there. That's how she books her authors into schools. And that wasn't happening. So she moved everything online and does interviews with authors. And now that things are going back to in-person events, we're really excited to see our people again.
People
Because
actually in person. And
Yes. It truly is. Headline Books is truly a family that I'm extremely blessed to be a part of. And yes, I am a huge believer in that everything does happen for a reason. And I kind of rely on that. And, just pray for the best, and just know that my purpose here is to try to make happy things to put into the world.
That's exactly right. And that's what it's all about. And it's the most beautiful and best reason to do what one does in life, and to inspire people, and to do it with some kindness. as we say with our Kindness Matters
Oh,
mug. Do you have
yes.
anything there to toast with? Is there water or
I
anything you
do.
have?
I have a huge glass of water,
Oh,
and
perfect.
it has
Cheers.
a little mini bow on there for Disney. Cheers.
Cheers. Mm, just like a little coffee talk here on a Sunday afternoon on the Jim Masters
Yes.
Show Live. Somebody that usually pops in during our show just wanted to say he thoroughly enjoyed this. Mr. George Burns is with us.
Oh, how nice. Thank you so much, George. It has been fabulous to be here today.
He said you knocked it out of the park. He absolutely loved it. He's got his little cigar there. He's got his hanky. He is. I say to all the guests, my aunt collected dolls, and my mother is the youngest of 16. So one of my aunts collected the dolls. And when George turned 100, they came out with this collector's edition of George Burns, beloved actor, comedian, so much more, played God in the movie too. And it got passed down to me. So he's been a part of the Jim Masters Show Live Levity family ever since. And there he is. He's looking in. He's seeing if you're working on some other things. And
Oh, yes.
he sees all the sketches and
There's a lot of stuff around here. Oh,
yeah.
yes. That is a great example of comic relief right there.
Absolutely
Always.
right. Yes. When I bring that in, it's sort of everybody just the guests usually, they're like, oh my God, I love George.
I
Which,
love it.
yeah. Well, I hope the show met whatever expectations you had and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you, Ashley.
Oh, thank you so much, Jim. It's been a pleasure and an honor. And I love what you're doing. And again, putting happy things into the world we need more and more of that. So I am a huge supporter of yours now that I know what you're doing. And again, really appreciate the time today.
Oh, the pleasure is mine. And what we always say here at the Jim Masters Show Live is we will keep the porch light on for you so we can have you back and spread the word about the Jim Masters Show Live. We would absolutely love that, Ashley. And this was really a pleasure and a delight. Now, when we wrap, are you going to be going right back to sketching or are you going to have some lunch?
I am probably going back to sketching. Like
You
I
have
said,
some deadlines?
I do have deadlines. I
Yeah.
actually really like deadlines a lot.
Yeah, it
And
keeps you motivated, right?
It does. Oh, it's great. And again, like I love a good challenge. So it
Yeah,
keeps me on my toes. So yes, I have some
absolutely.
sketches and some color work and
Yeah.
some new shows to listen to while I'm doing that.
I
So
know. Yeah, you can binge watch our series, about 600 plus episodes
that's
of
what
our
I'll do.
series. Keep you busy for a while there. Kathleen says, Ashley, thanks for being here. This was awesome. You are amazing.
Thank you.
And yeah, Kevin says, say good night, Gracie.
Thank you,
Absolutely,
Kevin.
Kevin. Good to see you, Kevin. And congrats on all the cool things you're involved in as well. Ashley, come back soon. Love you. Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you
Your
guys so
artwork. She loves the artwork. And Juanita's is this great conversation. Thank you for spending time with us. Your work is most amazing. And great seeing you, Ashley. Keep creating. Absolutely. Linda in Florida. Yes, Jim. Please do have her back. Kathleen in New York City. Ashley, thanks for being here. This was awesome. You are amazing. Jen Barry, Pennsylvania. Ashley, come back soon. Love you. And a few more coming in here. She also says, Ashley, you're now a Jim Masters Show, JMS Levity.
Oh, I love my new title. Oh boy.
Well,
I'll
we say
put
it
that
all
in
the
my
time.
bio.
Yeah, we say it all the time. Oh, you should. We say it all the time. You can get Oscars and Emmys and Peabodys and Tellys and Tonys and Grammys. But when you get a Levity on the Jim Masters Show Live, are your feet tingling right now?
They
Usually
are.
what happens.
They are. I am very honored. Thank you. This deserves a big heart. Thank you so much.
Oh,
I love being a levity.
that's it. I tell you. And like I say, it just sort of slipped out of my mouth when I was saying the show has a lot of light, love, and levity. And ever the New Yorker, I said it a little too fast. And I said Levity. And then the audience said, all right, we're your Levity squad. You're Mr. Levity. This is Levity Hall. Your guests are part of the Levity family. We're the Levity family. We're going to grow our Levity family. And then I said, hey, gang, well, should we keep the E in levity? Because generally, grammatically, it's not correct,
Right.
but during the early part of the pandemic, I said, absolutely keep the E. That's what they voted. Keep the E, because we don't want you to disrupt the word love. So we don't want Lovity. We want Lovey. like the Levity Squad, LOVEITY, to keep the word love intact. And I said, all right, gang. All right. I'm a very interactive host here. So you vote, you win. We keep the E.
That is fabulous. I love it. I'm a big fan now. That's great. I love knowing that.
Oh, we appreciate that. We appreciate that. How many days would it take if you watch nonstop from beginning to end? Good question. Over 600 episodes, and some of the episodes are an hour, hour and a half, what have you. Put a pot of coffee on Gary in Iowa. And Gary, I hope you guys are safe. I know there was a horrific tornado that went through Iowa, I think yesterday. So our prayers to everybody in Iowa.
Yes.
Prayers to those in Ukraine and anywhere there is, torment or strife or just anything happening. And just sink your teeth into Ashley's work and come see us here at the Jim Masters Show live. And we are working, both of us, to put smiles on your face. Right, Ashley?
Always.
High five.
High five. Yeah.
All right. We'll have you back again soon. Spread the word about our show. And this really was a lot of fun and a pleasure. And thanks for doing the live demos too. That was really cool. We loved that.
I'm glad. I had a ball. And, I think I might have a guess of how long it takes to watch all of these episodes. Yeah. Probably as long as it takes to illustrate a book.
At least, right? Say hi to your mom, and maybe she has some folks that she thinks would like to pop on as well as guests. Spread the word. Everybody welcome.
Absolutely.
And that would be a pleasure. You take care and be well, my friend, okay?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Jim.
Oh, you're very welcome. Take care. Levity Ashley on the Jim Masters Show live. Bye-bye now. Ashley Belote right here on the Jim Masters Show live. Again, if you would like to check out Headline Books, of course, is a great place to go. So is her website, Ashley Belote, and there's a spelling of it right there, .com. Great conversation, lots of levity. She likes to laugh like we do here. We did live demonstrations, and we brought all of you into all of your activity, and we took a look at some of her extraordinary artistry. If you didn't get a chance to see, or you joined us late, you can watch the replay of this on our YouTube channel. That's right. That's the channel you're watching right now, Jim Masters TV. So the show is The Jim Masters Show live, and the channel it's on is Jim Masters TV. And again, there's about 600 episodes or so that you can enjoy and peruse. And again, you can see this episode again. Thanks to those of you who have been sharing all of the links to our series episodes on your social media, spreading the word, spreading the levity, helping us continue to grow by leaps and bounds. It does take a village, a lot of work behind the scenes here, putting all these shows on almost 7 days a week live. And to the epic nature that we do. But we really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, we would love it if you did. And give this episode, again, a thumbs up and a like, and leave a comment on our YouTube channel as well. And as we always say, don't forget, kindness matters. We talk about that a lot here on the Jim Masters Show live, and wherever you're watching around the world. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Hope everybody's doing well. It's a Sunday afternoon here. It's bright sunshine. It's 52 degrees here in the Northeast, which we are very happy about. We're going to be getting together and we're going to be walking at the park while it's sunny and beautiful out. And then we've got some dinner. Then I have some scripts to write. And tomorrow I'm on the air on the radio, and then have a lot of television shoots this week in my professional world as well. But I do want to let you know that tomorrow, for those watching live, our show is at usually 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right? Today was a special afternoon edition, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific with Ashley. Tomorrow, our show is on at 8 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So not 7 tomorrow, it'll be 8, because our very special guest, brilliant actor Sean Kanan, this will be his 3rd visit to the Jim Masters Show live. He's going to actually be going from a television shoot straight home so he can join us on the show. So originally we said 7 p.m. for Pacific, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. And then he was going to try to attempt to get to his home. Remember, he's in Los Angeles traffic. So I said, hey, you know what, Sean, this is your 3rd visit. You've been so much a supporter and fan of our show. You watch it. You've been a guest. we can move the show for you so you have a little bit more breathing room and you don't have to rush, or if you get stuck in traffic, panic. So we're going to do the show live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, working around Sean's schedule so he can be here in full for us and not have to worry and panic coming from his TV shoot. It was a close call for me on Friday with the show because I was coming from northern Massachusetts and a TV shoot, and we had tons of traffic to get back here, but we did. Sean, of course, The Young and the Restless, The Bold and the Beautiful, General Hospital, Cobra Kai, The Karate Kid 3, Studio City, and so much more. Way of the Cobra. He's a fantastic actor. He's going to be with us coming up on Monday. Then we have a very inspirational story. You may have seen this on CBS News, on Inside Edition. Jeff Sweat is a wonderful writer and journalist in Los Angeles. He and his family, they all got COVID-19. But with him, it became, he was recording goodbye messages to his wife and kids. And there's a friend who is an opera singer. He ended up having a tracheotomy, and a friend that's a brilliant opera singer actually helped him be able to sort of regain his voice through the help of doing opera singing, sort of being trained by her to be able to sort of retrain the voice, because again, he ended up having the tracheotomy, and he was able to recover from this situation and get his voice back through opera music and through his friend. And again, it's a major story that was featured on Inside Edition, all the news, television, radio news outlets, the papers. He's going to be here exclusively on Tuesday to tell his story, and it's going to be very inspiring. Plus, we have a lot of other surprises happening as well. He's all excited. We're honored. Matter of fact, it was actually one of our other guests. You may remember Shana Pereira, who was on our show. She had such a great time, and it was very inspiring when she was with us. She recommended to him he come on the Jim Masters Show live. He caught the show, loves the vibe. So he's coming on Tuesday. We're very excited about that. Kathleen Walker, thank you very much. She just did the super chat. We love that because that's going the extra mile as a levity. And that really helps our series because we put that right back into the production and the investment of what we do with the Jim Master Show Live. Thanks for that. That's the super chat, super emoji, super stickers you can do when the show is live. If you ever miss the opportunity to do that when the show is live, there is a heart icon on every episode of our series that says thanks. So underneath the episode on YouTube, there's the subscribe button and everything else, but there's also a little heart button. And if you can click that, you're able to support the show as well. Great show. Thank you, Jim. What a fun time. Kathleen Walker in New York City. Thank you so very, very much. And Christine says in North Carolina as well. Thanks for Amber's extraordinary literary contributions, illustrations, reminding us of the importance and value of viewing the world through the eyes of a child. Absolutely. Artwork. So original and meaningful. I agree. Jim, I'm humbled. Thankful for you and your show. So many different options to connect to your show. I know we have guests that come in from all walks of life, levels of celebrity, and so much more. We don't just do one category. We don't do just one theme. You know, we have everything here on the show, like a traditional entertainment, lifestyle variety talk show series of yesterday, but also of today. Thank you very much, Jen. We appreciate that as well. Love it, love it, love it. And you're getting a refund this year? I haven't had one in a long time. Once I get my tax return, I'll do more than two. You're funny, Kathleen. We appreciate what any of our viewers that do that, the super chat, super emoji, super stickers when the show is live, because that really does help us big time. We really appreciate that. And Sherry Larson says, thank you for having Ashley on today. Her artwork is wonderful. If you haven't seen it, check out FRANKENSLIME. That's right. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, evening, and hugs from Sherry in Kansas. Out for an email from Toby. All right, we will do that. The team and I will definitely look at that. And if you've sent an email, gang, hang in there because we've got a lot. We get about 110 emails a day. And that's just for this show. That's not even involving my professional work. So we filter through, we try to get to as many as we can. And then we have somebody that helps. And it's just grown to that level, which is great. But we appreciate every single one of you. And if you've written to us, or you're tweeting, or you're Instagram messaging, or Facebook messaging, or you're leaving comments on our YouTube channel, or you're posting on our Facebook pages, or Twitter and Instagram, all at Gym Masters TV, or the Facebook group, the Gym Masters Show, Levity Hall, any of them. We thank you so very much. If you're sending emails, thank you very much. We'll, respond to everybody quickly. We get so many, and we thank you so very, very much. Yes, time to relax, Merlin. You got it. You as well there in Ontario, Canada. And Maureen says, what a fabulous conversation. I especially loved watching her draw her characters right before our eyes and sideways. Now that's talent. I know she did it with holding up this way. And she was, it was sort of, she wasn't looking directly at the pad. She was looking at the screen and back at the pad, but to be able to do that in the way that she did it. Yeah, I know. You guys are great. Thanks for these terrific comments, and we appreciate every single one of you. And Ashley, too, chimes in. She's not only a guest, she's a Levity viewer. She's now a Levity. Thank you so much for having me today. I loved being an official Levity. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Ashley, as well. We really appreciate you, and spread the word again, and we'll have you back. Thank you, Ashley, for joining us today. You are a gem. Really, really nice comments. Again, I'm a very interactive host, so I try to bring people in as much as I can here. And thank you all. I appreciate the love and support. That's what it's all about on the Gym Masters Show Live, where Levity reigns. Again, it's not just a word, it's a movement. Matter of fact, our viewers said that. I didn't come up with that. I came up with Levity, but the viewers are the ones that said, this is Levity Hall, and I'm Mr. Levity, and we're your Levity squad. And the viewers, they loved it, and they have created that. Thank you, Ashley, for spending time with us today. You too, Gary, as well. And Gary, I think you did a super thanks. You did a thanks on one of our episodes recently. Was it Gary Stockdale, maybe? You did a thanks, the little heart icon on the YouTube channel, and you supported our YouTube channel and that episode. And we thank you very much for doing that. We're going to start mentioning the names on our YouTube channel episodes of those who do super chat and super emojis and super stickers, and those who are doing the thanks post live on the YouTube channel. We're going to start thanking you personally on the actual, I do it on the air, which I believe in, but we're going to start doing it on the actual YouTube channel underneath the episodes as well. So yes, you want the books for yourself, not just for the kids, but for yourself, right? Of course. So make sure you go to those websites, ashleybelote.com and elsewhere. Gang, thanks for all this great time here. And Maureen says, we're so happy to have you as a member of the Levity Squad, Ashley. Again, that's exclusive to the Gym Masters Show Live, this whole Levity movement and everything Levity. And we really appreciate all of you. And we have Levity merchandise coming. Yes. And I was just chatting with the folks with the cruise. We're talking about going on a Levity cruise next year. We pushed it to 2023 just because we wanted the pandemic and COVID and everything has sort of calmed down. Fingers crossed, we're on the other side of it. So we're looking at the summer of 2023, early summer to midsummer for the Levity cruise. We'll keep you posted. Looks like Bermuda is what a lot of people asked for. There was several other options. There was Europe, there was the Caribbean, there were other areas, but I think a lot of you wanted something that was manageable as far as distance and all. And Bermuda is fantastic. Matter of fact, Bermuda is 600, 700 miles off the Carolina coast. Been there twice, actually, through 2 radio shows that I've hosted over the years. We went with the listeners. Bermuda is absolutely beautiful. But all the Levity, I know the shirts and the mugs and the hats, we are just about there now, which is fantastic. And thank you, Kathleen. So as soon as we have them, we're going to post it all here for you guys so you can scoop some of that up. You guys are the best. This is great. All right, gang. Thanks for all the time, the attention, all the Levity. We really appreciate this. And you wanted to do it for George Hutton. That's right. You did it on Gary Stockdale, which was a great show too. And you wanted to do the thanks on George Hutton, the Irish singer, songwriter, lyric tenors episode. Well, the fact that you did it at all, We really appreciate that, Gary. He did thanks on our YouTube channel. Again, the YouTube channel is Jim Masters TV. Hit that subscribe button you see there, and then you're in. We thank very much Ashley Belote for joining us here on the show. It was really great having her here. She was fantastic, and got a chance to really learn about the process too, about her, but also the process of what it takes to, create works of art like that and so much more. So good stuff. As I said, every episode is something different and something unique. Want to remind you too, coming up this month from Saturday Night Live and the Saturday Night Live Band, good friend Christine Ullman is going to be with us. She is a legendary vocalist with the SNL Band, and also the Beehive Queen and singer-songwriter acclaimed. She's coming up on the show too in the month of March, and many other great guests. So cool stuff, gang. We love it. We don't say goodbye here at the Jim Masters Show Live. We just say see you later. We say slancha and cheers and moi loop. And we say sayonara, Wiedersehen, shalom, and all the rest. Maureen says, wishing you all a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Sending all the love and tight to lovely hugs across the globe. Absolutely. Lisa, you as well. Have a wonderful day, all. Lots of levity to you all. To you as well. Lisa Rodrigo watching on the show as well. Thanks, gang, for all the great comments. We appreciate that. And for all of the passion and levity for our series. Again, when you see this logo, you know you're going to have a good time on the Jim Masters Show Live. Spread the levity. Tell everybody you know about our series. That helps us grow and helps things go. And we appreciate everything you say and everything that you do. And it's duly noted. We see it too. We see those of you who are really doing some extra things. No, this was it. This was it. This wasn't a double levity day today. This was just now, because it's already about almost 4 o'clock. So we're going to the park, and then we're having dinner. So class dismissed. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Now, that's for the live audience. Those of you who are watching this later in the archives, in the replay on our YouTube channel, you can stay right there. Another great episode of the Jim Masters Show Live comes right up here on our YouTube channel. All right, so we're going to sign off here. Thanks, gang. We love you all. Be good to one another. Take care of one another. Smile, as we always say. We'll throw that in here. Don't forget to smile. Don't forget to share the famous levity. Of course, find your Zen place. One of mine is, of course, the ocean, living here on the coast along the ocean in the northeastern United States and the greater New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, along the southern New England coast between New York and Boston. And of course, my work in television, radio, stage, and film over the years, too, is also levity for me as well. Again, spread the word. We really appreciate that. All right. Jim Masters here, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, we always have epic see you laters. No goodbyes, but epic see you laters. Thanks for the comments. We'll see you on the next one again, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, with actor Sean Kanan. That's going to be amazing. He's got some cool things to share with us right here exclusively on the Jim Masters Show Live. We'll see you again soon, okay? You guys take care and be well. And thanks for watching this episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. Be good to one another. Love one another. We'll see you again soon. Cheers.